Yo, what's going on, guys? Eagle Talks Football. We're back again with another video. Hope you guys are doing well. Please do make sure you guys check out the rest of our videos throughout this festive period. There's going to be some uploads. There's going to be some videos coming short form via shorts and many more. Plus, do check out today's title sponsor, OK Jersey. The link will be in the description for OK Jersey. Use the code EGAL to get a discount, of course. And that is pretty much it. We got Deo in the building. Deo, welcome to Arsenal Agenda. Hope you're doing well.
Yo, what's up, people? I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Thanks for having me again, man. Appreciate you, bro.
No worries.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna have Souls joining us also, but today on the agenda, Arteta has a problem. We're gonna discuss it. We have Kai Havertz coming back, Jesus coming back to full fitness, and concerns about Gyokeres. We're gonna talk about that. Timber signed a new deal. We're going to talk about that, plus a little bit more. But before we go any further, I guess we'll start with Timber signing a new deal. Reports came out about a couple weeks back, if I'm not mistaken, in October, that we were gonna get a new deal with Timber. And now it's even as early as June, we heard rumors about a new deal. But Mikel Arteta has confirmed that Arsenal want to tie down Timber to a new deal back in October, and reports are that now that deal might be completed. Reports came out earlier today, around 8 hours ago, that Timber and Arsenal have apparently put pen to paper and are confident that after this season, he will have a new contract on the table and he will be signing a new deal.
Awesome, man. That's good news. That's good news. You want to keep a player like Timber. I mean, this season so far, let's be realistic. He's hey, what's up, my brother? How you doing, Souls? I'm good, man. You want to keep a player like Timber. You definitely want to keep a player like that. You don't want him leaving the club at this stage. Number one. Number two, this season alone, I'm just talking this season fitness, this season when it comes to being like fullbacks, he's the least dribble pass fullback with 9% this season. Better than Calafiori, better than Reece James, better than every other person defensively. So you're not. We'll be stupid if we lose him to whatever it is in the contract. Like at this stage, you should just be like, look, what do you want? My son, what do you want? Here you go. We're going to keep you for the next. Yeah, because at this stage, you need him. We need him more than, because trying to replace what he does overnight, again, with Ben White's injury issues, which is so painful to me. It's so painful. I love Ben White. I love Benjamin Blanco, man. You guys, you have no idea. That guy for me is Arsenal. Like his tricks, the things he does, the annoying things he does at keepers. Like I like those kind of behaviors. But again, because he's on and off, we have to keep Timber. Yeah, there you go. That's the stat. There you go. Yeah, dribble pass percentages are for fullbacks. Yeah, he's better than everybody else in fullback right now. And yeah, we did the right thing. We did the right thing securing his deal before he leaves. Before somebody else comes and tries to take him away. We did the right thing.
Yeah. You know what? To me, it's just very simple. We're tying down all the players that we think are going to be part of this project long term. And anybody who we don't know if they're going to be a long term person in the team, we don't necessarily need to tie them down right now.
Yeah, and again, as a club, you want to be smart about the players you keep, because even if you change your manager, tell me which top manager would not like to work with Timber after seeing what he's done this season. Tell me which top manager would not like to work with top players. So if you tie down your top players, even if you change your manager, whatever manager is coming is like, hey, I know I've got like quality players to work with. Arne Slot was handed a quality team. Why not? Why not? So it's not just about the players themselves alone. It's more for me about the club, and it's also more for me about like, if the manager leaves, for example, if we get rid of Mikel Arteta and bring somebody else in, he's got quality players to work with, and that's a good thing. That's why you should tie players like that down.
So, Souls, in case you don't know what we're talking about, we're just talking about Timber getting a new deal. Reportedly, Andrea Berta is currently in confident talks. He's confident that the deal is going to get done, progressing well. Arsenal are confident that Timber will sign a new contract. Talks are led by Andrea Berta and are progressing well.
Yeah, I think we need to be making this step as a club. They made the promise to us when this whole project kind of started off that we're no longer going to allow players to go into the last sort of 2 years or 18 months of their contract without a definitive whether they're staying or we're going to be looking to sell. And I think they're kind of going with that sort of pattern of behavior, trying to tie them down, giving them the contracts they deserve in some ways as well. There isn't really wages. I know there's players we bought like Jesus, Havertz to some degree, and others who we bought in earlier in the project where their wages may be a concern. But in terms of the way that the club's operating and even players that are being bought in now, they're being put on wages that reflect their sort of status in the squad, whether they're the star player, whether they're the main player. And I think that's I think the promising sign when it comes to Timber. He is arguably one of the best right backs in the world. In my opinion, he is outright the best without a debate this season. And this is on the back of coming off an ACL. This is on the back of having some injury problems as well. And he's looking like an absolute unit, in any facet of what we ask him to do, whether it's attacking, whether it's defensively, he's got a bit of everything about him. And it's going to be difficult to replace a player like that. It's not about looking at market opportunities every single time. It's about also appreciating the talent you have and how rare they're going to be to come across. Someone to be very astute both ways is also difficult, and being so technically secure as well. So I think the club's moving in the right direction. They're for the first time in my lifetime anyway, they're actually fulfilling the promises they're making to the fans, that we're no longer going to see our big or key players go for free. We've seen it recently at Liverpool where Trent's gone to Real Madrid, I know for £10 million, but that whole debacle that happened there. And I know it's different when it's a homegrown player. It's relating it to Saka really more than anyone. But we don't want that debacle. We don't want these players, especially on Nasri's, Van Persie's, all of these kind of players going on frees or going to rivals just because we can't tie them down or we can't be competitive enough in the league, whether it's the Champions League, Cups, etc., to actually motivate them to stay. So we're moving in the right direction. I think a lot of agendas are being broken, because why would these players be signing whilst Arteta still remains to be the manager if they don't rate him, or if Arteta's not the guy? Like, I'm not saying he is, but what I'm making the argument of is if he's not the manager to move us forward, then why are all these top talents securing their futures whilst there's not a single bit of doubt Arteta's going to be here for the future? So I think people need to start rethinking that these top players, either you have to start calling them out for being losers, or you just got to acknowledge that the manager is capable of winning.
The belief in the manager is partly why majority of these guys are signing the deals.
Yeah.
Gabriel Magalhaes, Saliba, Saka, Rice joined us over City. Don't forget that, right? Odegaard signed a new deal recently. Ben White signed a new deal a couple years back. Raya just agreed a pay rise. Trossard agreed a pay rise. These guys are not staying just for no reason. You know what I mean? They do see something at Arsenal for them to say, you know what, I want to stay here. But yeah, big up everyone in the comment section. Do me a favor, please do hit that like button. Please do hit that subscribe button while you guys are at it. Let's just quickly shift gears. The mood after the Wolves game, even the dressing room, Arteta spoke about the dressing room and said that the mood around the dressing room was a little bit of relief that they won the game, of course, but the margin of victory should have been bigger. And we realized because we managed.
Arteta actually said they're pissed off. He didn't say there was relief.
Even Saka said it in the politest way possible.
Saka said in an interview that he's relieved that we got the 3 points, but he's not the performance. He's not okay with the performance that they put up, and that's fair enough to say. Like,
I've not heard that too many times, to be fair, though.
Yeah, but again, Miguel,
this is from the players and the managers.
But this is what I was saying about the season, right? There will be games like this. Sadly, it was against Wolves, and that's why it's being talked about like that. If it was against another top team, maybe it would not be as there would not be that much noise against the bottom team. But again, these type of games will happen in 38 games in a season, week in, week out. We're not going to go unbeaten. Like the Arsenal team that won the Invincibles, that is an anomaly. It's an anomaly. So when people assume that we're going to have good games, I mean, we just came from a 18-game unbeaten streak to lose one game to Aston Villa. 18 games where we actually had more chances, dominated the ball more. We went the whole of October without conceding a shot on targets. We went into November breaking the whole set piece goals are more than open play goals. We scored more open play goals than any other team in November itself alone. Like, so when you look at these things in the pockets of what it is, yeah, you're going to have these type of games. It's sad that it was against the Wolves. I wish we could have just dominated them and beat them down. But if this type of game gives us the victory and we're out of there, I'm happy to take the 3 points because I know the quality of what this team can do. I've seen it against Bayern. I've seen it against big teams. You know, I've seen it against Newcastle, coming back and literally fighting to win the game. So I won't beat them over the head with it. I'm not superly and overly concerned right now. I just feel like now you can reset. You've got a whole week to breathe. This is the first time in 6, 7, 8 weeks that we've had a week where we've not played a game outside the international break, where we've not played a game on the weekend and on a weekday. A weekend. This is the first week that we've had 1 week where the players literally have 7 days to breathe. So yeah, and players are coming back again. So there'll be more dynamism in the team. You know, we'll be able to use players against different teams for, you know, depending on how they set up. We can bring in whoever we need to bring in depending on how they set up. You know, being able to get 3 points to who's available is a big deal.
Ben White in the small cameo that he played in those couple games was very effective. We're gonna miss him. He's gonna be out for another 5 weeks.
Yeah, you can't train to sprint back at 26 kilometers per hour as a defender. You don't train that just coming back from injury. That counter attack that Wolves had and you running that way.
No, but forget about the injury for a second. We know about the injury. I'm saying, what are we gonna miss? We're gonna miss those overlapping runs. As much as I love Timber, his effectiveness for the overlap and just the cross, the goal that we scored, the first goal that we scored from the Merino header, it was so nonchalant the way that he just passed that ball to Merino. Like he makes football look so easy sometimes, Ben White, with the crosses that he puts in. When I see people on a weekly basis trying to put in crosses and they don't get nowhere near their man.
Fair enough, you're right. But again, my thing with Ben White is I'm going to miss the overlapping runs, the underlapping runs, the crosses. I'm going to miss all that. But at the same time, your key thing at Ben White is be a defender. And that's what I like about Timber. Timber in the box, dangerous when it comes to headers and set pieces. He's one of the people that we know can actually score set pieces for us. We've seen him do it not once, not twice, not 3 times. Timber doesn't really have, and I'm not comparing them. I like the fact that they're 2 different profile players. And depending on what team we're playing, we can actually play the person, player who suits that team. But we don't have that now. But again, getting 3 points to who's available is a big deal. Because again, you're playing with who's available. You're not playing with who you want to play with. You know, like you're not starting the 11 that you want to start. You're starting the people that are available based off. For example, Mikel Arteta said Saliba was not 100%, but they had to risk it. So you're starting with who's just literally readily available and getting 3 points. I think that's a big deal. And Timber is a all-rounder for me. I respect what Ben White does, but there's
one second. I did not mean to put you on timeout. I meant to make you a moderator. I don't know. Unhide. 1 second. Unhide. And I meant to make you a moderator. So sorry about that. Yeah. Parker the Gooner, don't go nowhere. I was literally just trying to make you a moderator. My apologies. I don't know what the hell happened there. It just when you're trying to click something and you click the wrong thing.
This is what happens when you're multitasking. Do you know how they say
Parker the Gooner, can you respond?
Igal just threw all men under the bus. We don't know how to multitask. Igal, this is not good. You can't just make these kind of mistakes. Now all of us look bad, all men. Because they say men can't multitask. We can't speak, listen, and then click the moderator thing.
He's laughing. He's laughing. He knows. He knows. Anyways, shout out to you, bro. I just wanted to make you a moderator. I don't know why the hell the thing was acting stupid. Anyways, we got 35 people in the building. Please do hit that like button. Next thing we're going to talk about, of course, is Gabriel Magalhaes. Rumor has it that Gabriel Magalhaes is going to be back soon. They're saying in the next few weeks, he could be back on the 15th of December. They said that Gabriel Magalhaes is targeting to return next weekend. So they're saying as Arsenal travel to Everton, however, it's tough. Coming too soon it could be tough and could be coming too soon for the Brazilians. So we're gonna have to wait and see. Could Gabriel make it in time for Everton? I doubt it, but in my opinion, as long as he's ready for that game versus Aston Villa at the Emirates, I'm
gonna be honest with you. I don't like these early returns. They're not working. Like I know people are gonna sit there and disagree, but we've had 100 different injuries. I'd much rather just play it safe, just play the players that we can. I don't look the Saliba one I kind of get because we're running out of centre backs and stuff like that. But I just think, when he's ready, play him. Don't play him just because you need him back early. We need to stop doing that. And people are more than welcome to disagree. But as long as if Nkampi and all of these kind of players are available to play, then just don't risk him until you're confident he's 100% back. And I know you can't always say 100%. I know it's always like 80, 90, whatever. And then match fitness and all of this kind of goes into the equations and stuff like that. But I just want him to be ready to play, not
he is scheduled to be back before the end of the year.
Yeah, but again, we have to also be I agree with you, Sauls, 100%. I think that if he's going to be on the Everton game, he should be on the bench. He should play 15 minutes at the end of the game to get him into match fitness and warm up and everything. I think this Everton game, if I'm the manager, if I'm Mikel Arteta, I'm going to look at who's available and look at how to play conservative football and get 3 points. Just go in there, get my 3 points, and just walk away. It's going to be a tough 3 points for me. I agree that it's going to be a tough 3 points, but I'm going to go in there, get my 3 points, and just walk away. I'm not going to go there and try and
David, play all out. We're going to talk about the Everton game. Don't spill all the beans.
Yeah, but that would be what I would do. I would let players like Kai Havertz, players like Gabriel rest out the next couple of weeks because we're at the end of the year already. This is not where.
But 1 second. What is rest? Because
when I mean rest, I'm talking about
1 second. If he does come on for 10, 15 minutes, that in itself is more beneficial than him training outside of the game.
Oh no, but you remember, you seem to forget that Arsenal has closed indoor games that we play. Under 21s, under 23s play games. They let these players go and play against other players. They play against the league. Again, that's something I can do during the week, because if he doesn't play at the weekend and he needs maybe just 24 hours so his muscles are a little better, then he can play maybe on a Tuesday with the under 23s, play 45 minutes. There's many things you can do to get a player back to match fitness. We don't have to, because the Premier League game is not where you get match fitness. That's where you come and perform and get points.
All right, let's talk about Havertz. I seen something that in the comment section. I don't know if this is true. Let me just check. Kai Havertz. There's a chance Kai Havertz could return to face Liverpool January 8th in the FA Cup clash, or Portsmouth in 3 days. 3 days later in the FA Cup clash. So right now they're saying he could be back. They're also saying that Kai Havertz is set to be out until mid-January following a setback last month in November, and the striker was a week away to return, but now sustained an issue in his final session and is yet to return to training sessions since. So at this moment in time, Kai Havertz has another setback. A player who's supposed to be back before the beginning of the new year will now be back sometime mid-January, like January 15th, January 20th times.
That's why you got to manage players properly, man. We got to manage. And again, some of these injuries, when people say like, oh, it's the club, I'm like, look, you don't plan for these injuries. This is a contact sport. It's physical. There are things that you cannot train for, and sometimes when they say setback, it might be something else. It might be a weight issue because of maybe a muscle thing. They're like, you need to get down to this amount of weight so that your muscle, because again, these are things that we don't know.
People want to know what kind of camera you're using there, like your HD.
I have a Sony camera. I use a Sony camera.
Bro. You're in a different dimension.
I have a Sony FX30. I do film for a living, so that's what I mean. Video production is what I do for a living. Creative digital media. So I have cameras. I have a bunch of different things. Like this is my home studio. So
all right, let's talk about this though. Say Havertz is back, Jesus is there, and Gyokeres is there. Arteta has a selection problem at striker. It's not necessarily the worst problem to have, but it's still a problem.
I don't call it a problem.
No, hear me out, boys. It can be a problem because you have Jesus, who's one of your higher paid players, Havertz, who's one of your higher paid players, and Gyokeres, who you just signed in the summer.
I don't go on there and go, because they're high paid. No, I go on there, who's the best to beat the opposition.
Okay, you just signed Gyokeres.
I
You
don't
just signed
care. I
Gyokeres in
don't
the
care.
summer
No,
about
you can
big
sign
money.
Gyokeres for £500 million. I don't
Miguel,
care. That's
Miguel,
not my
but the point,
determining
Miguel, the point is
factor.
about winning and 3 points,
Yeah.
right? This
But
idea
what I'm
that we
saying
try
is,
to
look,
pitch.
Gyokeres, if you're playing a high transition team, like where you're going to get counter-attacking opportunities because they're going to play a high line or they're going to play football against you, Gyokeres makes a lot of sense because he's going to get space in behind. That is where he's at his most threatening. If you're trying to break down a team and you need that opportunity to
You
like
need chaos.
rattle the
Gabriel
center
Jesus.
backs, go get Kai Havertz in there. If you need technical security, you go play Jesus. The reason I don't understand this whole selection, they've 3 different players that have 3 different strengths. You utilize the strengths. The issue that Arteta's had, where he's played Moreno, he should have played Gyokeres, and where he's played Gyokeres, he should have played Moreno. And that's kind of where we need him to start getting the selections right. And that's why I'm saying there is no selection headache if he just looks at the opposition and goes, what's the likelihood of the style of play they're going to play? And
We have another issue though. I think part of the concerns around Odegaard and Gyokeres and other players has to do with their fitness and the ability and the issue that Gyokeres has. He just came back from injury. He's only gotten one full 90, and people are judging him extremely harshly, in my opinion. When it comes to his
that's what they do to Arsenal. They always try to make a narrative about anything Arsenal does. If Victor Gyokeres had scored 15 goals by now, guess what they'll say?
I see more articles on Gyokeres than I see Isak.
I know. Let me tell you what would happen if Gyokeres had scored about 15 goals now. They'll say, well, they're not quality goals. They're against this type of team. They're against that type of team. You will hear all kinds of things. I'm glad we have 3 strikers back. I want Havertz to be back. I want the competition. I want to be able to. I like what Mikel Arteta is doing now, where after the first half, if the team is not looking good, he brings in a whole new 2-3 players by the second half. He's not waiting till 65, 70 minutes anymore. He's learned. So if you play Gyokeres against a team that plays a high line, and for some reason they're able to drop back really quickly and not give Gyokeres enough space, and they'll be able to go back into like a mid or low block real quick, then again I'll bring in Jesus in second half. I'll bring in Kai Havertz, somebody who can hold the ball and play that 1-2 touch again with Odegaard and Saka and try and break them down. So again,
you guys honestly think it's a 3-man debate, though?
I don't think it's a 3-man
debate. It's about
not debate.
It's the opposition.
It's who's best. It's about
It's the same as Trossard and Martinelli. They're both different. Like when you need a bit more.
Trossard is a starter, in my opinion.
No. But when you need
against
look. People need to get out of the mentality that we have solid starters anymore. We have built a squad to play the opposition. If you need space, look, Trossard is slow as fuck. He's not going to get away from players. And that's where you utilize him as a technically secure player. When you're playing the likes of Wolves, when you're playing the likes of, Burnleys and stuff like that, where they're going to be a lot more in their shape and you need to do something to move that around. That's where you get your dribblers. That's where you get your agile players. That's where Jesus is really good for that. That's where your Havertz is really good because they can hold the ball up and force them to change shape.
And when you play like a Bayern, Martinelli is the person you want to play.
Yeah. So Gyokeres, as good as Gyokeres is, I'm not going to expect him to change and force them to move out of position because it's not his game. That's not what I'm expecting, and I'm not going to judge him on that. Martinelli is similar. Martinelli, when you give him space, that's why the Bayern games and Champions League games have been a lot more open. Hence why Martinelli is one of our top scorers in the Champions League. You need to start looking at players and going, this is what they're good at. These are the oppositions. Now, if we're talking with the hypothetical, everyone's available. If there's not a player available, then you just play who's available, right? Like that's a given.
All right, we're going to get onto the Everton game in a second, but I just want to get back to this point right here. So, Gyokeres, do you guys have some set of concerns at this moment in time? Because I see a lot of people have concerns around the fact that he's only scored 4 goals, the fact that he didn't get a goal, didn't even look like he was going to get an opportunity versus Club Brugge or these guys. And his chances have not come too many. Like besides the Trossard one that Trossard passed to him in the last game versus Wolves, I can't think of too many opportunities he had versus Club Brugge.
Yeah, I mean, again, what I will say to the whole Gyokeres thing is I think everybody just wants to, go with the rhetoric and the talking points. They've got to say something about Arsenal. I will go back to something that Arsene Wenger told Thierry Henry, and Thierry Henry said this himself. He said, Arsene Wenger told me when I joined the club and I wasn't scoring when I first joined the club and things were tough for me. He says, learn how the other players are. It might take you some time, but make yourself available for them and you'll be a better player. I think that's all Gyokeres needs to do. Right now, we saw that Trossard pass, for example, in that game. Trossard read him, he read Trossard, they knew exactly, and he played that ball and Gyokeres ran into it, turned around. Yeah, he didn't get a good shot off, but whatever it is, the more chances he gets like that, the better he becomes from learning how the other players are. I think the Gyokeres is going to come correct eventually.
But do you think there's a physicality issue like Rio Ferdinand?
I don't think so. I think this is why I said that most people would just want to make a narrative of it. Even if he had scored 15 goals now, you would hear that, oh, Gyokeres has scored 15 goals, but they're not 15 good goals. No matter what he does right now, again, Arsenal is going to be spoken about. I'm convinced, regardless of what anybody says to me on this earth, I can criticize a player and say, look, Gyokeres has not scored enough goals as a striker. Yes. Has he been able to blend into the team? No. Has Isak, who has Prem experience, been able to blend into Liverpool? No. I don't see us talking about that. I see us talking about a player who's come from Portugal, who everybody did not expect to blend. The same thing, Florian Wirtz. Oh, let's give him time. He's coming in from the German league. You know, it's different. It's a different league. But now that he's Gyokeres,
I've seen one article from Jamie Carragher about
now he's a flop. Like, it's, for me, it makes no sense. You know, this idea, people said, oh, but you guys said all you needed was a striker and the missing piece. Yeah, but whatever striker you get, you still have to work around getting that striker to blend with the team. Now, will Gyokeres blend with this team eventually? I think there'll be games that we will play for him and he will look very good. And there'll be games where he also has to adapt to how the Arsenal way is, which is make yourself available. If it's a case of holding up the ball, as a striker, he's lost the ball the most this season. Like giving the ball away this season. That's something I need him to work on. You can't be a striker that can't hold play. They play you a long ball, hold the ball, don't lose the ball, make yourself available for Saka. Boom, give him a one-touch pass, and then see if you can run in. Give it to, Trossard, see if you can run in. Find an Odegaard. That's where I think it is. So all of these guys, these so-called pundits, the Jamie Carragher's and co, they have to say what they have to say to get clicks, to get views, to get news, to get all that nonsense. And they will say all kinds of crap. The truth is, I don't see them being this critical with any other player who literally is in Gyokeres' position and is not. I don't even see them giving Nick Walter-Maid of Newcastle the props that he deserves right now. The guy hit the ground running.
No, but negativity sells. And people make a living. People make a living off Arsenal, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's because we react. That's the problem. Our fan bases are easiest to rattle. They're the easiest to poke, and that's why they do it. Like, if we didn't react, they wouldn't care. The issue is, look, even if you go and call Alexander Isak a flop, guess what's going to happen? No one cares. That's the reality. Their fan base isn't going to care that you called them a flop. Nor are rivals. No one really engages in that narrative. As soon as it comes to Arsenal fans speak louder. But on the Gyokeres thing, I mean, I'm notoriously known to not rate the player. I don't think he's as good as people think he is. But at the same time, look, he's an Arsenal player. I want him to do well. But I am not been impressed. I've kind of felt like exactly the way I thought before the summer window when we bought him. And the concerns are still there. I just don't think he's someone that we can... He either has to adapt to us, we can't adapt to him. Like, that's the reality. As much as we're going to try, our players are so embedded into playing in this controlling way that he's just not going to be able to unless he, builds his technical profile up. And he's a little bit on the age side of, can we really change the way he plays? Is he he is what he is, and we just need to do what we can with him. And that's kind of where I'm at with it. I go, look, I don't know. He wasn't my number one striker choice. He wasn't my number two striker choice. Probably not even number three. Like, it wasn't someone that I had on my radar and said, like, that's going to translate into the Premier League because of certain elements of his game. I just didn't. I still don't believe he'll translate in the Premier League. I think, if anything, the best attributes we're going to get from Gyokeres is the Champions League, and I think that's where he's going to shine. I don't think he'll do well in the Prem.
So, can I say something to what?
One second before you go. Okay, shout out Malcolm. He's an Everton fan. He says, "All right, lads, see you at the Hill Dickinson Stadium." That's what they've called it. What do you call it? Thank you.
I think you win 1-0.
I think you win 1-0. Make it tough.
We'll make it tough for you, lads. All right. Thank you, Malcolm.
Find a way to screw our party up.
Look, see,
Malcolm, I think that is a realistic scoreline.
But I wanted something to what Saul just said. Saul, earlier in the stream, we talked about how Arsenal, Mikel Arteta, Andrea Berta, the leadership have decided to build a squad that is dynamic for any team. I don't think they brought in Gyokeres to be a top number one strike. Like, this is going to be an out-and-out number 9. Like, this is the one thing that I think that most fans try to do, especially rival fans and then even Arsenal fans. We need a striker, we need a striker, we need a striker all last season, right? We buy a striker and then we now say, yeah, this is the guy that is going to lead. No. The truth about it is we knew we still had Gabriel Jesus coming back. We knew we had Kai Havertz coming. In fact, most of us said Kai Havertz was going to start the season as a striker and Gyokeres was going to be blended in slowly. Remember, before Kai Havertz injury in the summer. This is what most Arsenal fans believe.
It's like there's still
I just think
that you look at a player and go, there's a redeeming quality.
But here's what I'm saying. No, but you just said in the Champions League is probably where he'll thrive, which is probably why we bought. So my thing is, I think we bought players to be able to build it.
My man says, calm down, Deo. He's like, calm down. What?
Maybe way too much focus and pressure is on him. In his first year, he'll be fine. No worries with him. Yeah, like I said, I'm not even stressed about what I've seen the qualities. I've seen the headers. I've seen him turn around and score some nasty goals that we need players like that to score. I've seen him bully defenders and I've seen them bully him now. So my thing is, again, maybe in the Champions League where there's more open play, right? He will thrive. But I'm glad that we have that profile of player.
And I can't see why I don't think it translates into the Prem. And why my concern's more the Prem. I think Champions League...
I hear you on the Prem. What I'm saying is, again, the Prem, we now have players that...
Prem or no Prem, I've seen him not be effective in things that...
No. Okay, do you know what? If he was there for Bayern would have got spanked even further. Like, I will say that. Like, because their openings in the Champions League, teams have opened up and they do come higher lines and they don't really play that reserved and conservative against us. So that space...
What about Port Vale?
He didn't play much though.
I know, but again, Igel, I think for honestly speaking, Souls, I hear you. What my point with Gyokeres is that at the end of the day, we have a different profile of a striker. Do you realize that? I'll give you an example. For Maduike's second goal, right, in the Champions League, the header. Did you see where the two defenders were? Did you see who they were marking?
They were occupied by him.
They were occupied by Gyokeres. It was literally the fact that's what cleared the back. No. My point is, again, there's certain, like, as a profile, the things that you can.
How long can you use him as a decoy?
Listen now, we used Kai Havertz as a decoy the first half of the season when he joined Arsenal. It was in the second half he started scoring. In the first half of the season, Kai Havertz, we could not even figure out where to put him. We can criticize the goal scoring because he's a striker, right? I can also criticize his hold of play right now in the Premier League, but in the Champions League and in other because again, why not try to go and win more stuff? It doesn't have to be the Premier alone. If he's going to be useful in the Carabao Cup where he can bully smaller teams, let's bully smaller teams.
All right, let's talk about the Carabao Cup.
Just what I'm saying, like that's my thing. I would take a player profile like that. I also have Havertz, and then I have Gabriel Jesus.
1 second. Should Arsenal beat Crystal Palace, they face Chelsea in the semi-finals, and coincidentally, we play two legs in that semi-final, and the second leg is at the Emirates. So, advantage Arsenal if we get past Crystal Palace. This is a big tie, and in my opinion, boys, this is the opportunity for us to kickstart our trophy campaign. Get our first trophy of the season. If we can go and get the Carabao Cup, I have no doubt in my mind there's going to be a double on the table come the end of the season minimum.
I'm focused on Crystal Palace. Well, I'm actually more focused on Everton at the moment. I'm taking it one game at a time. I'm not getting carried away. We still need to beat Crystal Palace before I even think about Chelsea. Even though, like, yeah, Caicedo's missing the first leg, all of that. I'm not that fussed. Like, I need to get past Crystal Palace in the cup. I need to go beat Everton. Then I worry about Chelsea and whoever else we've got next. Yes, I do think the Carabao Cup is very important to our season just because this team needs to taste victory. It needs to taste what it is to pick up a trophy. And that can, like Pep Guardiola did early days with City, he got them to win the Carabao Cup and then that spun their season around and they went on this mad run afterwards and got to win a Premier League and, whatever else to go win that season. So for me, yes, like we need to focus on it. We need to make sure that we try and go and at least start with the Carabao Cup and then whatever else comes in the season comes. Because that could be the difference to getting that morale up to going, those finer margins, those moments where we slip up, we can go back to, we won a Carabao Cup, we can go win this league no matter what adversity we face. So that's why it's important to me.
All right, let me just ask you guys something related to this before we go any further. The League Cup and the Premier League games. How are we going to manage the rotation? Because we play Everton, and we just had 7 days off, so we have a good little rest going into this Everton game, right? Then we play in 3 days' time. We play Palace, and then another 3 days' time we play Brighton, and another 3 day times we play Aston Villa. So in the span of 10 days, we play 4 times. So how do you manage the rotation and the best team for each game? Do you pre-plan rotation, or do you just go best available based on the injuries each game?
You have to go best available when you have this type of cluster of games. You can't pre-plan because you don't know what will happen to a player. For example, if you play against Everton and the player gets injured and you're like, I'm going to play you against Everton, but then I'll play you against Brighton, and he gets injured and you don't have him for Brighton. You just literally have to go by who's available, who's fit, and how is this team going to set up, and how can you set up to counter what they do or lean on your strengths. I think that's the
But
most
wouldn't you
important
go
thing.
like Calafiori, you're gonna start versus Everton. Miles Kelly, you're gonna start versus
if
Palace.
I do that, if I do that, right, and I say Calafiori, you're going to start against Everton. Lewis Kelly, you're going to start against Crystal Palace, and then Calafiori, you're going to play against Brighton. And Calafiori gets injured in Everton, then I don't have Calafiori for Brighton, which means I must play Lewis Kelly for Crystal Palace and for Brighton, and probably bring him in
No,
for
but
Everton as well.
couldn't you do like Trossard, you start versus Everton. Martinelli, you start versus Palace.
Yeah, but
Um,
if Trossard gets injured against Everton, then I bring in Martinelli against Everton, and then Martinelli now has to play Palace, now has to play Brighton, now has to play Villa. I think I have to look at the squad as a
no, but
manager.
across the team, couldn't you do like a combination of those things for the 2 games? That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
but that's what I'm saying. It's who's available. Yeah, it's if a player is available, then I can make that plan. But as a manager, you want to be able to say, okay, Trossard just got back from injury. I can't overplay
Okay,
him 90
so
minutes.
God forbid, no injuries versus Everton, and we win. In the game versus Palace, do you guys play any rotations, or do you just go full strength?
In the game against Palace, it will still be full strength for me. It will be full strength because again, we've had this type of week before.
No
This type
Norgard.
Oh no, people like Norgard and Co. Yes, I think I can bring in the Norgard in. Like again,
So is that full strength?
no. Again, I can bring in not to start. I said I can bring in Norgard. I didn't say to start the game. I will go full strength, try to get the goals, and then if I need to shield it off, I bring in a Norgard, take out the Zubimendi, keep Rice on the pitch with Norgard, or take out the Rice, keep Zubimendi and Norgard on the pitch to sit in front of my back four, because again, we don't have our complete back four yet. So I'm still going
Does
to
Kepa start?
Huh?
Does Kepa start?
Yeah, maybe against Crystal Palace, yes. Maybe against Crystal Palace. But again,
What are you saying,
hasn't
Souls? Does Kepa start for you?
Raya hasn't had a lot to do, so I don't think I'll start Raya.
The keeper rotation doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'll start Raya. Like it doesn't, I'll start Raya. What's the point? Like Kepa, yes, like he's a good backup. The only reason you have a Kepa is if Raya gets injured, because the goalkeeper, like, what are we doing here? He's not running 24/7. A goalkeeper just needs to be alert, because when it's his turn to step up and do his part, he needs to step up and do his part, literally in the game. And Raya has had a pretty decent, easy season so far, even with our injuries in defense. But again, I just think that we've had this type of run, and we had it again recently with when we played Bayern and all these other guys as a cluster game. Yeah.
You know what? He gets my point. Souls, you get my point. What would you do versus Palace?
For me, I kind of understand where Dale's coming from. I know you can't pre-plan, but if, let's just say hypothetically we did, Everton, I'd go strong because it's the league. Crystal Palace, I'd make rotations such as like Madueke coming in for Saka, maybe whoever's not played against. I'd have to see.
You start Madueke at Palace.
Yeah. Because in the cup, I'm fine resting Saka and just bring him on if we absolutely need to. Like Madueke is more than good enough for me, and he's proven to be a very top form player. So I'm more than fine going there. I think just because it's the cup, I don't mind rotating. It doesn't mean we're weakening our team. It's just certain rotations can be made. You can have like Eze or Odegaard, for example. You can go. The only players I'd say I don't want to rotate as much as they probably need to is Rice. Like, as long as Declan Rice is playing, I'm not that worried about what we do. Martinelli or Trossard. But then again, I'd have to see what Crystal Palace have available, what Everton have available, and go, can we afford to rotate? I mean, we are at home for the rest of the 3 fixtures, so that also plays a part into like how we maybe want to set up. Being away from home against Everton, a ground, I know it's a new ground now, but we've never travelled well to Everton. We've always had these slip-ups, and either it's a draw or a loss or something of that nature. Something crazy happens. So full strength, let's go get the 3 points in the cup, see what happens.
So can I say this again real quick?
I need to shift gears to Everton now. Just 1 second.
Okay.
Before we go any further, guys, please do hit that like button. Please do hit that subscribe button. And we're now going to talk a little bit about the Everton game. We've kind of touched on everything else that we needed to touch on for now. By the way, we're not doing transfer links to Miles Lewis-Skelly and Ethan. This is bullshit. Don't take anything you read about those rumors, anything about Ethan to Manchester United or Chelsea or Miles Lewis-Skelly to Chelsea. It's just the media talking bullshit. So don't take anything serious that you see from LiveScore. For example, LiveScore is one of the worst. They just talk crazy. And even the Arsenal links to Yildiz or something like that. I spoke to a Juventus fan. Right now they're still in negotiations to try to get him a new deal. There's no real negotiations with any external club at this moment in time, but we'll see. As for Arsenal versus Everton, Everton have 4 players out for this game. Everton have 4 players out. I'm not underestimating Everton, but they got some big hitters out. You got 2 players on international duty. You got Grealish and Dewsbury Hall, plus Branthwaite, who's been out for a minute. So that is 5 crucial pieces to their puzzle out of the game. Now, for us, I get it. Gabriel's injured, Havertz injured, Mosquera, Ben White, Dalman, but we can survive. This is the predicted lineup based on the website. And I don't think that's too wrong. I would probably go with that team. What do you guys think?
Again, it's who's available.
The only thing I would change is Zubimendi for Eze. Put Rice in the middle and play Eze, Zubimendi, and Odegaard.
No, well, I guess again it's who's available and who's fit, and then you also have to look at how they perform in training before the game itself. These are
Would you
all
go Eze, Zubimendi, Odegaard, or Eze, Rice, Odegaard?
I'd go Zubimendi, Rice, Odegaard for this game to start. Again, Eze is a good guy to put in the pitch, but these guys are not going to play. I mean, unless they're playing a super low block. Even with that, then I'll play
I
Eze.
would start Trossard.
Trossard just got back from an injury, played a game, had to leave in the game, even though he was a substitute. I would ease Trossard back in over the next 2-3 games. I'm not going to risk it because again, I know Martin,
these kind of games, man.
Yeah, he is. But my point is, if he gets injured and he's out for the next 3 or 4 games, then what is he? He's clutch in an Everton game, then we don't have him available for 4 more games. Like what are we doing? Like I would rather have a Martinelli stress out that fullback for 45 minutes, like the guy's tired, than bring in Trossard. Or have Trossard technically start the first 45 minutes, be very technical, make those passes almost like a number 10, get us a goal like he normally does, clutch, and then bring in Martinelli to just wear the player down. You have to balance. If I manage the team like this with all the injuries I'm having, I would find a way to balance and be dynamic in games, in-game management. I just won't look at the fact that because the player is clutch. Because if I don't have him for the next 2-3 games, then I'm my hands are tied.
So this is the team that we had last time. We know Ben White's out of the picture, so we're gonna put in Jurrien Timber. Saliba's obviously gonna start there. Hincapié is obviously gonna be in the team also. So the back line and the goalkeeper, that's gonna be the goalkeeper. Souls, what's your midfield for this game?
I'd probably just swap Eze and Odegaard. That's it. I'd keep.
Are we not going to rest one of Zubimendi or Rice ever?
Nah,
they've had 7 days to rest. What are we talking about here? Haven't they had 7 days to rest?
Even though they've had 7 days, do you not want to rotate a little bit?
No, what are you rotating for when they again? This is what we talked about. The reason we were asking for them.
I'm just being devil's advocate. I'm asking.
I know. I'm responding to your question. I'm not saying that you're. I'm not saying what you.
Martinelli starts or Trossard?
I would start Martinelli again because I want to ease Trossard in for me.
Souls?
I agree. I think do you know what? I'm playing Eze.
Who?
I'm playing Eze there.
Okay. and then the rest is the same.
Well, you can leave Martinelli because I'm the only one who's saying Eze.
Gyokeres and Saka.
Yeah, I'm going to start Gyokeres and Saka.
Souls is different sometimes. He might start Jesus.
I'd start with Gyokeres. I'll bring Jesus in.
I'll
'cause
bring
he's been
Jesus
out.
on again. Yeah, exactly, because he just came off 11 months, bro. There's ways to manage this thing, man. Just because he did really good in that one game, I can't throw him in for 90, man.
All
Like
right,
you could
guys,
be
we
ending
have
his
a
career.
bad history away at Everton. Away at Everton, it is a very, very risky game. We've lost 3 of our last 6 there, and we drew 1 last year, and we won the other 2. So in our last 6 games, 3 losses, 1 draw, 2 wins. Not looking good. 6 goals in those 6 games. Very little goals scored in those games. This is going to be a very tough defensive battle. I think it's going to be an ugly game to watch. I think we just scrape it somehow, and we come out of there with a 2-0 away win. But what do you guys say?
Everton away, I think I'll take a 1-0. I'll take a 1-0, 1-0, and we just walk away. I'm not really interested in
Like the Fulham game.
Yeah, I'll take a 1-0, regardless of how nasty it's going to be.
Vader in the building. Shout out Vader. He says, would you have an 11 on this Palace for...
Would you have an eye on this 11 for the Palace game? As in, would you keep an eye on the 11 that we're going to play, and then?
I think it's going to be similar to how City and Chelsea kind of did it. They slightly rotated, because you also have to remember Palace is playing 3 games a week also. They just came off a busy week where they're playing Conference League games and Premier League games. They're kind of strapped with rotation also needed to be happening, and they played way more games than us in this period. So obviously there's going to be rotation on both sides, but I do think the Premier League game, we're going to see more of our best 11. And in the game versus Palace, you're going to see, I'm not going to say a B team, but you're going to see maybe 4 changes. 4 changes. Do you guys agree? 4 changes?
Again,
Against Palace.
Against Palace, again, I think, like I said, I would play a strong team in the first 45 and just try to, because again, remember, Palace is also rotating. So I'll play a strong team in the first 45.
Arteta has been rotating all season. But man says Arteta has no ability to rotate. What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, again, this is people that don't watch the game. People who, if you look at what Mikel Arteta did last season, all of last season, he would not substitute a player until the 70th minute. He would always wait till 60, 65, 69, 70. This season alone, he substituted players in the 45th minute, not because of injury, just because he wants to win the game. He's literally coming in the second half and changed the entire, like literally changed the midfield, removed the player. Like he's doing more. He's doing better with his in-game management and player management in the game, So I again,
what's your score prediction, boys?
I think 1-0. That's my prediction.
I said 2-0.
This is going to be a grind. This is going to be This is going to be a very, very tough game, especially with the injuries that they've got. They're just going to sit back and make it absolutely nasty like they always do. I'm gonna go 2-1.
All right, so we're gonna wrap it up here because wifey's calling me. We gotta go, but I'll tell you guys this: I'm gonna be back later today at 10 o'clock. Vader's gonna be on the channel. We're gonna be talking about the Premier League upcoming games. We're gonna talk about Pep Guardiola and all the stuff. What do you guys think about the Pep Guardiola news? Crazy, eh?
He's fooling everyone. He's gonna stay for longer. Watch.
He's gonna leave.
No, he's not. He's gonna just sign a new contract. Watch.
You mean Pep? But look, again, I don't think he's. I respect the guy. I don't think he's going to come out and say he's going to leave and then now sign a new contract. I think if you want to be a man of your word, if he says he's going to leave, I believe him. I believe he wants to leave. I think he wants to go chill now. He's won everything, literally, except the World Cup. He might as well just go and take on some national team and go and try and win the World Cup in the next 2030 World Cup or whatever it is. But yeah, he's a man of his word. He's a respectable manager. He's one of the greatest of our time that we've seen. And we've got to believe that if he says he's going to leave, he's going to leave. I'm not going to go by my feelings.
We're going to have to wrap it up here, guys. Peace out. Catch you guys at 10 o'clock. Enjoy your rest of your evening. Big up to Parker the Gooner for watching for the entire stream and everybody else. Vader for the super chat. And I missed one super chat. Shout out to African Soul. Says, what the fuck, Havertz re-injured? Do we go all up for another attacking player? No, I don't think we're going to sign another attacking player, my friend. Sorry. But yeah, sorry I missed your super chat also. But I appreciate you with the super chat, man. Catch you guys in the next video. Love for the love.